little white butt, as well as the notion of a child being locked in a spaceship with a child molester.
A spokesman
what?
said, "This is the one thing we didn't want to happen."
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video.
What we got today, C?
Today we're back with the top 10 controversial jokes told by British comedians. Super excited to get into this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit the red subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell. Without further ado, let's get into this video.
And blasphemy. Monty Python's Life of Brian is by far the oldest entry on this list, and a beloved comedy classic.
A comedy classic.
I haven't seen this one.
I wasn't even born when this came out.
It said the
It
year.
also
1979.
sparked one of the most
Oh, yeah.
famous cases of
Our parents might know
controversy
about
in
it.
British film
They was
history,
children.
causing outrage amongst the Christian community.
See, not so bad once you're up.
The film was banned in several
said not so
countries.
bad once you're up.
Pythons were forced to justify
Child, you
their
got
work.
nails in your
However,
hand.
it all ended up being a landmark victory for freedom of speech, sparking lively debates and starting a huge trend in comedy and comedians pushing boundaries.
I'm only pulling you
He
leg.
over there digging in his nose.
I've never noticed that.
Royal Prince tweet. Sometimes
I remember
it's
this.
difficult to tell when a seemingly offensive joke is just a brutal and satirical look at our world and when it's just plain offensive. This joke made by Danny Baker was deemed offensive, racist, and in very poor taste, resulting in Baker losing his job.
You want to talk to somebody else on a mobile phone?
I
In
just want
case
to know
you
how it
don't
was a
remember,
joke.
Baker
Right.
tweeted a picture of a monk, claiming it to be the offspring of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
This is the
How is
tweet
that funny?
that many felt was racist. A couple holding hands with a chimpanzee captioned
Why is that
A
racist?
baby.
Why is that racist?
leaves
A baby.
hospital.
Oh,
Meghan is
because
half black, which made
he's saying that the
whole
baby
thing
was the
incredibly
monkey.
dodgy. And while many comedians stepped up to support Baker, the historically racist connotation of the joke is
Right.
hard to deny.
Enormous mistake for sure. Grotesque. Anyway, here's to you, Archie. Sorry, mate.
Number 8, dwarfism. You knew
Shark
Jimmy
people?
Carr was going to make an appearance on here, and his most recent outrage is definitely a rather harsh and nasty piecework, even by Carr's typically edgy standards. In the joke, Carr speculated as to whether or not dwarfs were abortions that managed to survive. It left a
That's
very
harsh.
bad taste in many people's mouths, and as you might expect, it caused a lot of upset in the dwarf community, including Warwick Davis. Jimmy Carr is, of course, no stranger to such controversy.
If you're a dwarf and you're offended by that, grow up.
Number 7, assault
Wow.
and battery. One of
Poor,
the most recent
poor boss
occurrences
said
in this
grow
list,
up.
and another example of the complicated issue regarding freedom of speech. Joe Brand made a joke about Nigel Farage after he was hit by a milkshake. Brand suggested a better alternative.
Why bother with a milkshake when you could get some battery acid?
It might not be the
y'all
wittiest
harsh
joke,
out there.
but definitely upset Farage, resulting in the police investigating. They maintained
The police?
it was
Okay,
just
now
a
that's
joke,
too far.
but Brand
That's
decided
too
to
far.
apologise rather than drag it out. Was she wrong to make that kind of joke, or do Farage's actions have larger implications on what we are allowed to say? Jury's still out.
Anything to say to Nigel Farage?
No.
Number 6, Pedogeddon. The brilliant series Brass Eye was also no stranger to controversial humour, as well as being seriously funny, but this special episode upset quite a few people.
Why can we no longer think of the British Isles without the word pedof in front of them?
In fact, you could probably fill an entire list with the jokes contained within, as the whole episode is full
Yo,
of
he got slapped
controversial
for real?
material
His
about
teeth came out his
paedophilia.
mouth.
Glasses flew
Like
out
the
his
rap
face.
song Little White Butt, as well as the notion of a child being locked in a spaceship with a child molester.
A
Oh,
spokesman
what?
said, "This is the one thing we didn't want to happen."
This all happened at a time when the issue was red hot and had millions worried and upset.
Security footage of a paedophile disguised as a school. He's been getting away with it in Sheffield for 12 years.
Number 5,
Years.
amputee veterans. Hey, it's
Y'all
Jimmy
are
Carr again.
harsh
Who
in the
knew he had
UK.
such a filthy mouth?
Y'all.
After making a joke about war veterans, he caused more than a little outrage amongst the tabloids, soldiers, and their families. Carr suggested that the
This is
next
second
batch of victims who
controversial,
had lost their
segment.
limbs to the war would make for a fantastic team in the next Paralympics.
He told the audience, say what you like about the servicemen amputees from Iraq and Afghanistan, but we're going to have a good Paralympic team in 2012.
Was there a valid and satirical point being made, or was it just shock for shock's sake?
No,
Either
it wasn't
way,
just
many
shock.
believe
It
that
was-
making
it was
light of
harsh.
young men and women being imminently harmed seems in very poor taste.
It's a minefield, this. Which, ironically, is probably how some of them got there.
Number 4, Harvey Price. It won't come as a surprise for most to see Frankie Boyle on this list. Frankie kicked off this feud with Katie Price when he made a joke about Katie fighting for custody of Harvey and who would keep him, except it wasn't that mildly put.
Apparently Jordan and Peter Andre are fighting each other over custody of Harvey. Although eventually one of them will lose and have to keep him.
Some decried, saying it was more than a little insensitive, considering
I don't know the
everything
facts
Harvey
of that
has to
case,
contend
so
with.
it's not
However, Boyle has stated that he
telling me
intended the
anything.
joke to be satire of how he felt Price was exploiting her son's conditions for fame.
Frankie Boyle is not a man, he is a mouse.
Number 3, gagging for what now? Dapper Laughs has always been a controversial act, his humour tending to appeal to a more laddish niche that borders on the side of homophobic and misogynistic for most. However, in one case, whilst on stage, Dapper made a joke about how a woman in the audience was gagging for a rape. This was a step too far
That's
for most
nasty.
and resulted in an online petition for ITV to cancel Laugh's show. It worked too. He seemed to vanish overnight, although recently he has resurrected his persona, but seems to be confined to the likes of Celebrity Big Brother.
I lost everything. I lost that. I lost a six-figure sum within two days later on a almost like a 80% sold out tour.
Number 2, Norman Lamont. Julian Clary is no stranger to making a few rude double entendres. However, when he went on primetime
He looked
TV
familiar.
and made this joke about performing a
Willy
lewd
Wonka?
act on Tory MP Norman
no.
Lamont, it caused quite a stir.
As a matter of fact, I've just been fisting Norman Lamont.
Don't forget, this was in 1993. England was far more conservative. South Park and Brasseye was still yet to happen. Even now, making jokes about this kind of thing is still quite controversial outside of appropriate shows and context. Clary was banned from performing on live TV as a result.
I mean, it's a remarkable thing, isn't it? You make an off-the-cuff remark in 1993, and here we are, 19 years later, having to talk about it.
Number 1,
Yeah, they will
Frank
pull it out
Paul.
there, yeah.
This one left a nation
Who
divided.
is he?
Regardless of whether you found it funny or not, or even if the outraged folk may have overreacted, there's no denying this simple prank phone call backfired and went nuclear. If you're unfamiliar, which doesn't seem likely as this story took forever to die,
There were a lot of
Russell
makeup.
Brand and Jonathan
Yeah.
Ross made a prank call live on radio and told Fawlty Towers actor Andrew Sachs quite bluntly that Brand had slept with his granddaughter.
His granddaughter!
Who amongst you would want to receive that call?
BBC's highest paid presenter, Jonathan Ross, has been suspended without pay for 12 weeks.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other...
Very controversial.
Yeah, the very.
They didn't leave anything untouched. They done talked about sexual assault. They done talked about kids.
Yeah.
The UK, y'all are brutal.
Yeah, I feel like the remarks are, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even require you to have tough skin. It's just
Right.
some unnecessary remarks that just go straight beyond the whole, you know what I mean, the dagger to, it go right there. Dagger to the heart, yeah.
I mean, being a comedian is hard. Of course, you know, you want to be funny. They're making fun of life.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the things that I think that they would joke about with casual conversation with their friends,
Mhm.
I feel like they would bring that to the stage, and that's where they go wrong at, because not everything needs to be publicized like that.
Yeah.
You know, like we may joke about something that may not be, somebody else may find offensive, you know,
Right.
but it's funny to us because, you know, I don't know. it's just hard being a comedian. I would not want to have those shoes. And yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them, I feel that, you know what I'm saying, in order to say these type of things, have to have a disregard to humanity. And they have to stand in this their own being and their own person to say such a thing on such a level. Yeah. Because you know what you're saying is hurtful. You feel me? It's beyond funny. For some people, it may still sound funny. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because it's just the stereotypes behind it and all the other things that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I heard comedian jokes. I heard racist jokes. I heard jokes before that just doesn't sit right with the ear of a person. You know what I'm saying? That I may have chuckled at, but sometimes in life, some of those things was like, Some of
that stuff was uncalled for, like the sexual assault jokes, having sex with the granddaughter, like
gagging to get raped.
Yeah, you know like that. Nah, you don't joke about stuff like that, especially about the military. These people are risking their lives to defend the nations. You know. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.